Hello and welcome again to another edition of Astronomy Spotlight. My name is Kirk Rosberg. I'm the planetarium coordinator here at the Hastings Museum. And this month we want to bring you an interesting topic, a very popular topic, when certainly it occurs, and that is a total lunar eclipse. Now, globally, this is going to be a total lunar eclipse, but from the Hastings area, and for that matter, in Nebraska, it is going to be really more of a partial eclipse, but more on that in just a little bit. So how do lunar eclipses occur? Well, as you can see in this diagram here from NASA, a lunar eclipse happens when the Earth goes in between the sun and the moon, blocking off the sunlight that would normally fall on the moon, at least for a very short period of time. Now for this eclipse, May 26th, which is a Wednesday morning, the penumbral eclipse, which is the faint outer shadow of the Earth, will begin at 3:47 a.m. I would not get up though at that particular time, because if you do, you might be a little upset because nothing is happening, and nothing is going to happen until about 4:45 a.m. And that is when the partial eclipse actually begins. As you can see it here in our planetarium simulation, there's a little bit of color there, a little bit of the shadow entering from the left side of the moon, I guess you could say. And so the first sliver of the moon is in the shadow at about 4:45 a.m. And I'm going to speed time up here a little bit so we can go through the entire thing, at least all of the visible part that we'll see. Maximum eclipse in the Hastings area will begin at 6:11 a.m. This is also when the moon begins to set in the south-southwest. Actually, 6:14 a.m. is moon set. So we won't get to see the moon come out of totality, as it will have already set by that time. So as we get closer to totality, you will see the sky brighten a bit. And I'm going to slow things down now a little bit. All right, so maximum eclipse in other areas will actually be at 6:18 a.m. If we could see the entire event, the moon would only be in total eclipse for about 14 minutes, which is a fairly short time for a total lunar eclipse. The next lunar eclipse will be on November 19th. And globally, this is going to be a partial eclipse. About 90-95% of the moon will be covered by the Earth's shadow, so it might look something like this picture you see here, but perhaps a little more whitish toward the top there. Now that eclipse will also be late as opposed to very early. It will be sometime after midnight, but we will get to see the entire event from start to finish. So it's just that the moon doesn't quite get 100% inside the Earth's shadow. More on that, of course, in November. So if the weather cooperates on Wednesday morning, the 26th, get up about 4:45 and see at least the first half of the eclipse. It might be well worth your time. By the way, this is also a super moon eclipse. Doesn't happen very often, but we have another supermoon this month, as we did last month. And it just so happens that this full moon, supermoon, occurs at the same time that the lunar eclipse occurs. So it could be quite interesting. But because it will be setting along the horizon right at totality, it may be kind of difficult to see. So the time to start looking will be about 4:45 a.m. Until totality begins on the moon, or the moon sets, which, as I said, is at about the same time. And as you can see here, the sun is also rising at the same time totality occurs. So keep in mind that because the moon will be so close to the horizon at totality, it could be harder to see the moon at that time due to all of the lights and, of course, the atmosphere. A lot of turbulent air closer to the horizon might make it almost invisible. So, and the fact that sunrise occurs at 6:08 that morning will make it increasingly difficult to see, but make sure you have a clear, flat view of the southwestern horizon at this particular time. That will be quite important. So, get out there, 4:45 Wednesday morning, and see this spectacular event, a supermoon total eclipse. And again, the next eclipse will occur on November 19th. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the eclipse.